Welcome to this series of tips on web services. We'll discuss different tips related to RESTful web services, SOAP web services, and microservices as well. All the tips we would look at are on our GitHub repository in 28 minutes tips database. You have a wide range of tips in here. Use nouns for resources. That's the tip we are going to discuss in this specific web service video. When we are talking about Richardson maturity model, we looked at the fact that in level 0, you expose your SOAP web services in REST format. What we said is you do something like this: server/get post /delete post /do this, do that, and that kind of stuff. Here, you are actually exposing URIs with verbs. So get post, delete post, do this, these are all verbs. When you really design proper resources, they would have nouns, things like accounts, things like users, posts, comments, and things like that. So when you design your resources, think nouns. Always think about what are the different nouns. When you're creating your resource model on how all the resources are present and what are the relationship between them, always think about nouns. However, you need to understand the fact that there are still some exceptions. So for example, you are performing a search operation. There is no way you can actually relate that to a noun, right? So how do you represent that? That's where you have and you define a few exceptions. So you kind of define standards around these exceptions. So probably if you want to search through a list of resources, so on each resource you can have a URI/search. So it can be, let's say I want to search through the users, then it's /users/search, things like that. One of the things that I like is how GitHub does the star and unstar of GIS. What it does is when I do a star on a gist, so gist is basically a piece of code. So if I like a piece of code, I can do a star on it. So the resource gist is represented by a specific ID. So /gist/ID is the resource, and when I do a star, what GitHub does is it sends a put request to the /star URI. So to the complete URI, it sends a put request, and it sends when I unstar something. When I say I don't like this, then what it does is it sends a delete request to the same resource saying I have unstarred it. I think this is a really good way. This is an intelligent way of approaching this specific problem. So what we're talking about is using nouns for resources. Always think nouns, but when you can't, make sure that you have a standard approach that is defined on how you'd want to do these exceptions. Until the next tip, do not forget to check out our tips database for more tips on a wide range of topics. Until I see you in another In 28 Minutes video, here's bye from the team here at In 28 Minutes.